Murder, the ultimate enforcement tool. Murder has always been an integral part of the Sicilian Mafia's modus operandi. The organization uses violence and assassination as tools of control, intimidation, and enforcement. Whether to eliminate rivals, silence informants, or punish those who defy its authority, the Mafia has never hesitated to resort to murder to achieve its objectives. The Mafia's use of murder is often ritualized and symbolic, serving as a powerful reminder of the organization's reach and power. The killing of a Mafia member or an enemy is typically carried out with precision and brutality, leaving no doubt as to the consequences of crossing the organization. One of the most notorious forms of Mafia murder is the lupara bianca, or white shotgun, a term used to describe disappearances where the victim's body is never found. This method is intended to instill fear and uncertainty, as the victim's fate remains unknown, and their family is left to wonder what happened. The lupara bianca is a particularly effective way of dealing with informants or those who refuse to pay the pizzo, as it sends a clear message that the Mafia is not to be trifled with. The Mafia has also been involved in numerous high-profile assassinations of politicians, judges, and law enforcement officials who have dared to challenge its power. These killings are often carried out with meticulous planning and execution, involving multiple layers of operatives to ensure the hit is successful and the perpetrators are not easily traced. One of the most infamous Mafia murders in recent history is the assassination, the Sicilian Mafia. A history of power, fear, and crime. Origins and early history. The Sicilian Mafia, known as Cosa Nostra, originated in Sicily in the late 19th century. The term mafia is believed to derive from the Sicilian-Arabic dialect, with mafia translating to acting as a protector against the arrogance of the powerful. This origin reflects the Mafia's early role as a protector of local interests against the powerful and corrupt. During the 19th century, Sicily was marked by social and economic instability. The island's feudal system, combined with frequent foreign domination and a lack of effective government control, created a fertile ground for organized crime. The Mafia initially emerged as a response to the failure of state institutions to provide security and justice. Small criminal groups began to form, engaging in activities such as extortion and protection rackets. Rise to power. The 20th century saw the Sicilian Mafia's rise to prominence. The end of World War II brought significant changes to Italy, including the dismantling of the traditional feudal system and the creation of new political and social structures. However, these changes did not diminish the influence of the Mafia. Instead, the organization adapted to the new circumstances, exploiting the political and economic upheaval. One of the pivotal moments in the Mafia's rise was the integration of Sicilian organized crime into broader criminal enterprises. By the 1950s and 1960s, the Mafia had established itself as a dominant force in Sicily, with its influence extending into mainland Italy and beyond. The organization began to engage in various criminal activities, including extortion, robbery, drug dealing, and murder. Structure and operations. The structure of the Sicilian Mafia is hierarchical and secretive. At its core is the Commission, a governing body made up of representatives from various Mafia families or clans. This commission oversees major decisions and resolves disputes between families. Beneath the commission are the capos or bosses, who control individual clans. These bosses oversee their operations and maintain loyalty within their ranks. The Mafia's activities are diverse and deeply entrenched in Sicilian society. Extortion is a primary source of income for the Mafia. Businesses, both small and large, are often forced to pay protection money to avoid violent repercussions. This protection racket extends to various sectors, including construction, agriculture, and tourism. Robbery and theft are also common Mafia activities. The organization targets valuable assets, often using their influence to gain access to high-value targets. This includes stealing goods from ships, robbing banks, and looting businesses. Drug dealing became a significant part of the mafia's operations in the latter half of the 20th century. Sicily's strategic location in the Mediterranean made it a key transit point for drug trafficking. The mafia capitalized on this by establishing extensive drug distribution networks, which generated substantial profits. Murder and violence are intrinsic to the mafia's operations. The organization uses violence to maintain control, settle disputes, and eliminate rivals. High-profile assassinations of politicians, law enforcement officials, and other public figures are part of the mafia's strategy to instill fear and maintain power. Notable figures and events. Several figures have played pivotal roles in the history of the Sicilian Mafia. One of the most infamous is Salvatore Riina, also known as Totò Riina. Riina rose to power in the 1970s and 1980s, leading the mafia with brutal efficiency. His reign was marked by a series of violent clashes with law enforcement and rival criminal organizations. Riina's leadership saw a dramatic increase in the mafia's violence. He orchestrated numerous murders, including the assassinations of prominent anti-mafia prosecutors Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino in 1992. These killings were intended to send a message to both the public and the authorities about the mafia's power and reach. Another significant figure is Bernardo Provenzano, who succeeded Riina as the head of the mafia. Provenzano's leadership style was more cautious and strategic compared to Riina's. He focused on consolidating power and expanding the mafia's influence while avoiding unnecessary violence. Provenzano was eventually captured in 2006 after decades on the run. Legal and social responses. The Sicilian Mafia has faced numerous efforts to combat its influence, both from within Italy and internationally. In the 1980s and 1990s, the Italian government intensified its crackdown on organized crime. High-profile trials, such as the Maxi trial of 1986-1987, resulted in significant convictions and increased public awareness of the mafia's activities. The Italian government implemented various legal measures to fight the mafia, including the introduction of anti-mafia laws and the establishment of specialized law enforcement units. The creation of the Anti-Mafia Pool, a team of prosecutors dedicated to investigating organized crime, played a crucial role in bringing key mafia figures to justice. International cooperation has also been essential in combating the mafia. Italy has worked closely with other countries to dismantle the mafia's global drug trafficking networks and financial operations. Efforts to freeze and seize mafia assets have been instrumental in undermining the organization's financial strength. Contemporary situation. In recent years, the Sicilian Mafia has faced increased scrutiny and pressure from law enforcement. The organization has been significantly weakened by arrests, prosecutions, and internal strife. However, the mafia remains a potent force in Sicily and continues to engage in criminal activities. Efforts to counteract the mafia's influence include ongoing legal and social initiatives. The Italian government continues to invest in anti-mafia measures, and there is a growing emphasis on community engagement and support for victims of organized crime. Additionally, international collaboration remains a key component in tackling the mafia's global operations. The Sicilian Mafia's history is one of power, fear, and resilience. From its origins in the 19th century to its current status, the organization has adapted to changing circumstances while maintaining its core criminal activities. The fight against the mafia continues, reflecting a broader struggle against organized crime and corruption.